I get it. I finally understand why people love OLED so much. Today, we're going to be checking out this monitor, the MSI MEG 342C QD-OLED. Now, it came out last year in 2023, but that's not to say that this isn't a fantastic monitor. And as this is my first OLED monitor, I truly get the hype around this technology now. So I figured we'd start off by running through the specs that this monitor delivers, and then we're going to upgrade my setup together. And for this upgrade, it's going to be something a little bit different. I'm planning on downsizing to just one monitor, and then taking this whole camera setup here and mounting it on the extra monitor arm that's going to be free. Personally, I can't say I've ever seen anyone do this in their setup. It probably exists out there, but I figured I would try it out and give it a shot. So I think it's going to be worth sticking around for, and who knows, maybe it'll serve as like some inspiration for your setup. Full disclosure, this monitor was provided by MSI, but this isn't a sponsored video. All right, now let's talk over the specs. The display is 34 inches with a resolution of 3440 by 1440, making it an ultra-wide quad HD with an aspect ratio of 21:9. It has a 0.03 millisecond G to G response time and 175 Hz refresh rate, making it perfect for competitive shooters, which is something I'm really excited about as a CS2 player myself. And for console players, there is a built-in MSI console mode where it can support variable refresh rates with a 1440p resolution. So it's nice to hear that this monitor is versatile. This display is also VESA certified display HDR True Black 400, meaning we should see pure blacks in scenes that are, well, black. And I'm not really sure if it comes through across on camera, but the colors on this thing really pop. Like, I don't know if it's just something you have to see in person to really, see the difference that it makes when compared to a standard IPS monitor, but trust me, you can tell the difference. Like when I compare this to my LED monitors, it's just night and day. Now you might be thinking, oh, OLED, it's gonna have some burn-in issues, right? Well, let's talk about that for a second. So this monitor features MSI O-LED Care 1.0. So it features panel protect, pixel shift, and static screen detection. Unfortunately, it didn't receive the MSI O-LED Care 2.0 update. Apparently for that to happen, it needs like specific hardware. So if that's something that's super important for you, you might want to look at one of the newer models. But if I'm being completely honest here, I think that MSI O-LED Care 1.0 is going to be just fine. So let's talk about panel protect real quick. So after 4, 8, or 16 hours, a little pop-up is going to appear on screen, and it's going to ask you if you want to either execute panel protect or snooze it for later. If you execute it, it's going to run a process that's like 5 to 10 minutes. And while that's running, you can't use your monitor. I'm not going to lie, the pop-up took me off guard the first time I saw it. I was in the middle of a CS game, and luckily I was able to just hit snooze, but I found out later that you can just simply set it so the pop-up only appears after 16 hours of continuous usage. Now, if you're in a rare case where you're using your computer for 16 hours of continuous usage, take a break. Go get some water, go get a coffee, get some food, and let the process run. Regardless though, the process will run automatically when you turn the monitor off, so everything should be taken care of for you automatically. That was a lot. TLDR, you don't have to worry about screen burn-in. In terms of connectivity, it has 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, a display port, and a USB Type-C port that supports the full 175 Hz refresh rate with PD 65 watt charging. Love that. It also has a built-in USB 3.2 Gen 1 hub along with a KVM, so you can easily switch between your gaming PC and a laptop via a single USB-C cable, which is provided. And we can't forget about the other cables that it comes with, which includes a display port, ultra high-speed HDMI, USB Type-B, this is what would plug into your main computer, and a combined 3.5mm audio cable. On this side, we have another 3.2 Gen 1 hub that has 2 USB ports along with a mic and headphone jack. And then on the other side, we have a macro button, a 5-way joystick to navigate your menus, and a power button. Now, I have this monitor mounted on the MSI MPG MT201R, which I created a review about in my last video, and I'll have it linked down below. But that's not to say that this monitor doesn't come with a fantastic monitor stand. I don't know, I think it looks pretty cool. I've never seen a monitor stand with this black and gold aesthetic. I just think it looks really unique. Adjustability is okay. You can adjust the height of the monitor as well as the tilt, but you're not able to adjust the rotation of the monitor. So if that's something you're looking for, I would definitely recommend pairing one of these monitor arms to go with it. Now, if you want the most OP setup, you could get 2 of these monitors and place them side by side, and the screen real estate you'd have here is just absolutely nuts. If this is something you want to do, I would recommend picking up the MSI MPG MT201DR arm, so that way you can mount both of them to the same arm. But yeah, I think that might even be a little bit OP even for me. So what I'm planning on doing is taking one of these monitors and using it for my gaming setup, and then keeping this other monitor here on this desk kind of to serve as like a guest setup. So with that being said, let's get to the upgrade. First things first, we have to take off my old monitors. For anyone curious about these monitors, these are Gigabyte M27Qs, 1440p, 170 Hz, 0.5 millisecond MPRT response time. And yeah, honestly, it's a fantastic budget monitor. I'm pretty sure I picked up each of these for $250 each. They retail for like $300. They definitely served me well over the past few years. All right, so we got the monitors off the stands and I just took out the power supplies. Now, one of the things I like about the 342C is that the power supply is actually in the back of the monitor. So what that means is it's all gonna be powered by just like a standard power cable, meaning it's gonna make cable management that much easier. Before we start mounting the monitor and the camera, we first have to slide over the whole monitor mount. So this monitor mount is the Secret Lab Premium Dual Monitor Arm. One of the cool things about it is it's like tightened down by the top here through an Allen key. Instead of like traditional monitor mounts where you kind of have to like reach under and like twist a knob, you just unscrew the Allen key right here. Genius design, you got to admit. All right, so this might work. It might be a little bit off center, but I guess you never know until we actually mount the monitor. So let's do that. Now, if your monitor mount has this like quick release mounting plate design and you notice that your screws aren't long enough to go through the mounting plate and then into the monitor itself, MSI does provide a set of these standoff screws. So that's what we're going to use here. And yeah, now no matter what type of VESA plate design you have, it should be able to mount to the monitor, no problem. Love this screwdriver, but I'm gonna go back in and hit it with just a standard screwdriver just to be sure. All right, so now we can put the monitor up there. Just slides right in. And let's see. That's already looking pretty sweet. And I think there's gonna be just enough space here to mount the camera, which the way we're gonna do that is with this CamVate cheese plate. I got this on Prime Day and it's a 75 by 75 VESA cheese plate adapter, which hopefully is exactly what we need. So we're gonna mount the cheese plate to the monitor mount with the hardware that CamVate provides. And after some finessing, I came up with this. So I had an extra newer ball head that I put on the cheese plate and then put the cheese plate ball head assembly on the actual monitor mount itself. And I'm really happy with how this came out. This is exactly what gets me so excited about doing like PC builds and setup upgrades and all this stuff. It's like, sometimes you gotta find creative solutions. And when you finally come up with that solution, it feels so good. And that's what makes your setup your setup. We got sentimental there for a second. Let's attach this to the monitor mount now. Boom, and there we go. It's perfect. Now let's add the camera. This is the Sony ZV-E10. Really nice little camera. You can probably pick one up for cheap now that they came out with the Mark II, so something to keep in mind. And then we can slide on the Elgato prompter. Boom. And it's perfect. This looks so sick. All right, I'm gonna handle all the boring cable stuff and all that jazz. So yeah, I'll see you when it's done. That took way longer than expected, but I'm so happy with how it came out. Like, my setup seriously feels like an entirely new space now. I'm super happy with how the whole camera rig came out because not only does it look really cool in the setup, but there's also some added functionality behind it. So I can easily raise or lower the camera. I can also rotate it, no problem, because it's on that ball head mount. And if I ever need to adjust a tilt, that can be done super easily. I know I said I was going to be downsizing to one monitor, and technically there's 3 here, but this monitor is mostly going to be used as my streaming computer monitor. So I hooked up a little switch back here so I can easily switch between my gaming computer and streaming computer. Now the monitor itself, I'm absolutely loving. The first thing I did after I set everything up yesterday was I hopped into a game of CS2 and copped a quick win. Oh yeah, it's good. So not only has the gaming been good, but I also really enjoy working on this thing. I started editing this video on this monitor and I'm really enjoying editing on the 21:9 aspect ratio. It just feels really nice. And as you can tell by my setup, I love RGB. So this little RGB strip here at the bottom is a really nice addition. It can all be controlled in the MSI Gaming Intelligence Mystic Lighting app, where you have a few different patterns that you can choose from. Then there's RGB GlowSync that takes into account the colors on your monitor and matches the RGB to whatever's happening. In a dark room, it looks really cool because you have the RGB kind of bouncing off your desk, and I don't know, I think that's a really cool party trick. There's also a few sensors at the bottom here. So this one in the middle is an ambient light sensor. So when you have this enabled, it'll actually detect the light in your environment and change the warmth of your desktop to help reduce blue light exposure. I do want to note though, you can only use this feature if HDR is disabled. And then these little holes right here are actually onboard microphones that can be used for MSI sound tune and active noise cancellation. Now on to the caveats. I guess this is just more so a caveat of 21:9, But if you're a streamer, you're probably gonna know exactly where I'm going with this. So for enjoying content on your own, 21:9 is an awesome aspect ratio. But if you're trying to stream, you can't really stream to Twitch at 21:9. Twitch.tv/Drigsy, by the way. So here's my workaround. I set up a hotkey on my Stream Deck to automatically change the resolution down to 2560 by 1440. So I'm essentially going from a 21:9 signal to a 16:9 signal. So that's what my capture card is gonna be getting. Now, yeah, we're gonna have these black bars on the side, which I will admit is annoying, but that's the best we're gonna get. It would be really cool if Twitch accepted a 21:9 signal though. I'm pretty sure YouTube does, but yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. And of course, we can't forget about the guest setup. I love how clean this looks. All right, so closing thoughts. If you're looking for a 21:9 OLED monitor that's 1440p, has a high refresh rate and a really great response time, and then a few extra cool little features built in, I think you're going to be really happy with one of these monitors. Huge thank you to MSI for sending me out both of these monitors so I could build out two really killer setups. Anyways, that does it for this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.